Live in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
10. Okay, we should be live. You may or may not pull up on your phone, but just be ready because you're recorded and it will go on your permanent record. Um,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I've got Brad, and he is. How far away are you? We're like 2 hours, right?
Yeah, about
Apart.
2.5 hours. Depends on if we
Two
hit
half hours.
traffic or potholes.
West side of the state. Um, you and I don't necessarily work for the same company, but we have the same mission. Take care of our families and be good loan officers and all that kind of stuff. I invited Brad to do a success series hangout, and it's a little different than what we've normally been doing for success series because, quite frankly, Brad hasn't really found success until the last 2 months. And we wanted to share his story because I know there's a lot of folks in here that are newer or have gotten to a rut and they see rates go up, or every realtor they talk to's got 17 LOs calling them every week, and they really don't know how to get more referrals or how to set themselves apart. So I wanted Brad to share his story and talk about his, I guess, first year in the business. Hasn't quite been a year yet, has it, Brad?
Not yet. No. I became a loan. I started as a loan officer March 28th, 2017.
Okay. So 1 year anniversary coming up. Hopefully you can take your diapers off soon.
I'm still a boot in military terms.
So, and I don't know the exact numbers. Hopefully, I'm not under or overestimating. I mean, you do have a pretty good stack of pre-approvals right now, right?
Correct. I
You got over.
have, I think it's 18 or 19,
Okay,
all VA.
and you've got a pretty good stack of live deals, right?
Um, there's 5 total accepted PAs or
Okay,
signed PAs.
okay. And how many of these did you have 2 months ago?
0.
Okay, so that's where I wanted to start this story. So 2 months ago, 60 days ago, you had zero. So let's rewind the clock a little bit to when you first started the business. We don't want to say anything bad about anybody you worked with or any of that kind of stuff, but you kind of got thrown into the correspondent world, and here you go, son. Here's some guidelines. Let's go write some loans, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I really was having a hard, like when I became a loan officer, I knew I wanted to be the VA guy, right? I know that is a huge need. Somebody that speaks mortgages, somebody who could speak VA, somebody who speaks military. Being a Marine Corps veteran myself, I knew that I could bring that to the table. Now, when I first started as a loan officer, obviously I did not speak mortgages, so I had to learn, right? But I did speak VA because I've gone through my own process myself. I've used the VA loan. I've used my GI Bill. I deal with the VA all the time. Obviously, I speak military because for 4 years. How do you be a loan officer? How does that translate to be a loan officer, right? So the main thing was just trying to get an understanding of what to do, how to speak, right? So for the first 3 months I was there, I was studying for my exam. The day that I passed my exam, Andrew Paul actually took some time out of his day to talk with me over the phone. He talked for me for about a good hour, and being the nerd that I am, I made a whole laundry list of questions to ask him because Andrew is a badass loan officer out in California who I hold very high respect for. So I have all these questions, and the very first question he asked me, hey, do you know Chapter 4 of the Lender Handbook? I'm like, nope. I will find out, though, right? So I just took my licensing exam 2 days ago, and this guy's asked me if I know Chapter 4 of the Lender Handbook. I said, roger that, I'll get right on that. So my next question was, so how do I get going with all this? And he's like, I don't know. Have you read Chapter 4 yet? I'm like, you son of a, so I knew how this call was going to go. But because he provided me that foundation, I mean, that's the key. You have to have the foundation to build off of. So I started building off of that foundation, and just kind of curiosity killed the cat. I'm a curious person by nature, so I started making my own little cheat sheets, if you will, because you all know, we all know as loan officers, you're never going to know everything, right? There are constantly changing regulations and whatnot. So from May till, I would say, September, I really had a hard time connecting with agents because I had no idea what I was doing, right? I had no idea how to speak to them. I had no idea how to answer their questions, right? And I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I hate being this guy who's spread so thin. Like, I know very little of everything across the board. What value do I bring these agents? You know, lenders are a
What were
dime a
you? I
dozen.
mean, what were you telling them at the time? What was your
Oh,
offering? Your
my company's great.
we close
I
loans fast.
we close
We have all the
close loans in
products.
record time. We work as a team and blah blah blah. Like, all right. So
And
I
I think
started
you and I
really,
talked about that before the call. I mean, in a lot of markets, your competition are solid lenders, and that's they do the same thing. So it's kind of a given to get to the ball game in the referral game, the game where agents are sending you their deals. That's assumed. Like, well,
correct.
if you don't know that, I mean, that's your job. So if you don't know your job, I mean, we don't even want you to walk in the front door. So what else can you do for me? And
Correct. And that's what I
you don't
came
want
up
to.
with.
Yeah.
Is,
So what else do you do, Brad? Are you going to pay my
so
Zillow? Are you going to pay my Realtor.com? I mean, what are you going to do? Do you have some friends that you can send me? You have some buyers for me today?
so what I could do, like I started thinking about it. Okay, so for the most part, lenders are all the same. We all offer the exact same products: FHA, conventional, RD. Some lenders offer their niche products. Okay, that's fine. But what sets me apart from somebody else who has more experience? I mean, I get it. I understand why they're going to send them there because they want the deal done, right? Well, that's where I really had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? I've always been pretty humble about my time in service, and I never really bring it up. So I knew that this was a way that I could give back to my veterans, my brothers, is by advocating on their behalf. And how could I do that? How could I get my message out? So I was really struggling along the way, trying to come off as genuine and sincere without coming off sleazy and cheesy, right? So I ended up coming across Facebook Fish and Jay promoting their MMBC Phoenix event. I think it was September 25th, believe it or not, was the day that I actually messaged you, said, hey, I want to get involved. How does this all work? What are you guys all about? And the next day, I think I subscribed to Digital MMBC, and out. Jay and I think a lot alike. We're both Marine Corps brothers, Semper Fi. So he talks a lot like me, and I can relate to him. It's very, within the first 5 minutes of watching first presentation on MMBC Digital, like I was able to, everything just kind of came together, right? So I knew I had a purpose, I knew I had a passion, knew how to drive. How do I get it out there, right? So I built on my foundation. Now I have to come, like, get out of my comfort zone, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And how do you do that, right?
So
So
what was the first step for you? I mean, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the call. I mean, you got that big ass book behind you, right?
this
Like,
guy,
okay.
this is the
So
lender handbook.
there's a lender handbook. So what you had to do, number one, was spend some time in there every day, but not all your time in there.
Correct. So I mean, I
You
would
had to start.
open up the lender handbook. I would read it. If anybody's actually read the lender handbook, it reads over like a lead balloon. So I mean, you could read the same paragraph 12 times and come up with 12 different conclusions. Still doesn't make sense. Um, so that's where Jay and Fish came in. They really helped provide me a better understanding of what is in this book. All right, they have a great way of teaching it, and it was great. I knew that now I have a value statement. I provide value to an agent. Hey, everybody wants to serve more veterans. Here's the
So
value I bring.
how did you actually start to connect with more agents though? Because
Okay.
knowing how to do something and teaching it are two completely different
Correct.
things.
So what I
And
did,
that's where I think a lot of lenders, I mean, we are the smartest guy in the room, and we're sitting here talking to the corner and telling the corner how cool we are and how we know guidelines. And I can flip open that book and and I can, use my fingers and keyboard warrior. I can beat any underwriter in America, and I can, tell everybody on Facebook that I can interpret those guidelines. But you got to be able to communicate that face to face.
Correct. So
and that was the next step, really, right?
correct. So what I did is I took the myth busting presentation that Jane Fish put together, and I kind of made it my own. Right. I added my own personal flair to it, and then I called every single one of my agents that I already have a partnership with, and I presented it to them one-on-one, because in order to be the VA guy, the VA dude, the VA authority, and stand up and teach, you have to be confident in it, and you have to at least present like you know what you're talking about. So what better way than to get comfortable with being uncomfortable than in a comfortable environment? Right. So one-on-one.
Yeah, I like how you said that. Get uncomfortable, but start out in a comfortable environment.
Correct. So, I mean, it was a very laid back, just one-on-one, like, hey, can I buy you coffee? I want to hear or talk over this PowerPoint that I made, and just hear your feedback. And, so I went through and I probably met with, I would say 25 agents or so, just going one-on-one, and I really got a lot of feedback, what didn't make sense, and how do you present certain things, because the entitlement aspect of that PowerPoint presentation is hands down the most difficult one to
So you were learning your voice. You were
correct.
And not to interrupt you, but some of the folks that have been in our loan officer acceleration program or been around what we've done for a long time have seen Chad Prio talk about his methods, and what he shares with a lot of us, very similar to what you said, where if you're building up to teaching agents, it's good to start with one-on-ones with 10, 15, 20 agents before you get that room full, so that you are the authority, you know what you're talking about. And just like you did, you kind of work the kinks out before you fill the room. Correct. So that you don't look like a guy who is brand new.
Correct.
And that was a key part to you building your authority. It was cutting your teeth a little bit on people that already knew you. Did those people send you a lot of business before? Did those initial round of lunch and learns actually help?
Those
one-on-ones, I mean.
Not necessarily. I mean, I had a couple leads come through, and just struggling to find my way. But what I didn't know was happening, and I had no intention of this happening, was word started to spread that I'm becoming the VA guy. Right? This is the VA guy. This, go talk to Brad. Go, do this, do that. I gained so much traction in about 2 weeks that I didn't even know what to do with. Like, what do I do? So I ended up getting invited to a lunch and learn, and I left my old place, went to Caliber Home Loans, which Caliber is phenomenal. My team is unbelievable. They're 100% behind me, and I would not be where I'm at today.
You can say it. I mean, his head is big enough, but Ian's a good dude. And
Ian Ashton has really helped me out. He really, he's the great and powerful Oz with his digital marketing wizardry. Andrew Midgley is my partner in crime. He's my Robin to my Batman. He's a networking guru. He just goes out and meets people, and he's always dropping my name. So, I mean, that's awesome. And a lot of the things that I'm doing now, I always had these ideas in my head. Some good, some bad, whatever. But I can call Ian, and within 2 minutes, he's like, I'll call you back in 5. Usually it's not 5 because he gets distracted. He has a attention span of a gnat. But he does come back with different ideas, and he understands what I'm trying to do. So everything that he usually provides me is very, very helpful, right? So, for example, the videos, the screen records.
Right. So that was part of it, is that you started building that local community, and then as you met the agents, you added them as Facebook friends. You started doing slightly larger classes, and then you started making videos, and your agent audience started to see those. So whether they watched them or not, you were learning your voice. You were learning how to communicate on camera. You were learning how to communicate at the lunch and learns, and or at the one-on-ones. And then you slowly built that up into larger lunch and learns.
Correct. Yeah. So I started with Caliber December 18th. Taught my first lunch and learn, actual lunch and learn to a group of agents. I want to say January, like around January 18th, so a month later, right? From there, I've had at least, and I'm just estimating here, I don't actually keep a tally. I've had at least 4 or 5 other lunch and learns from January 18th till current. I taught my
And
first.
those have been how many people in the room? Generally, like 2 to 10, right?
The smallest one I taught was 3, and that was a miscommunication. But
And the biggest one was how big? Like 15?
probably 20, 25.
Okay.
But
So
that was
your
my
lunch and
very
learns
first one.
kind of went viral, right? I mean,
Yeah.
one spun into another, right?
Yep. The 25 one, I really worked out a lot of kinks. I mean, it was almost 2 hours long. But that was also because I was going through certification to teach Con Ed. So I added in a bunch of extra entitlement slides that I wasn't used to. So
It's all right though.
my
This
fault,
isn't
but
necessarily about the nuts and bolts of it. It's more about
it,
how Brad went viral. And,
yeah.
you know,
So I mean, I just taking action. Once I got comfortable with being uncomfortable, start getting out there. I mean, you're gonna fall on your face numerous times, and that's okay. But you're taking action, and that's the
right.
thing, And it's not. I don't. You got to get over your ego. You got to humble yourself and actually get out there and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Because
So
go ahead.
So I mean, you're quite simply, you learn something to the point where you were really, hopefully, more competent than at least some of the competition, even though you're newer LO, because you lean on people that had the experience and tried to learn to do it the right way. You did smaller meetings with agents to kind of work through your voice. You did slightly larger meetings that spun off from those. You added the agents on Friends. You started making videos, and you did it, the recipe that we helped you with a little bit, which are shorter videos with, a pattern disruptor in the beginning, and we try to get it in front of the agents. We send them out to a YouTube link, all that stuff.
Correct.
So you're combining the video message with the one-on-ones, with the lunch and learns, and then next thing you know, so let's get all the way up to that point. So over the last 2 months, you went through all those steps. Now you're teaching classes of like 50, 55.
Correct.
How many of those do you have lined up? You got another 2 lined up in the next 2 or 3 weeks or month
yeah.
or
So
whatever.
I just finalized. The ink is still wet on a Con Ed class that we're presenting in Grand Rapids, April 25th. And we have another one that we're planning in Holland for May. Don't have the exact dates on that one yet, but the 2 more Con Ed classes coming down. My first Con Ed class was February 28th, and if I could tell you that I was expecting the response that I've received, I'd be lying to you. I was not prepared for the aftermath, if you will. The response that I've received since that class has just been absolutely insane. I cannot begin to even explain, or I don't even know where to start. I mean, I get
you filled that class with people that wanted to be there.
Correct.
So you did it the right way. You didn't go out and just try to advertise to find agents that had only heard of you once.
Correct.
You built your brand gradually through people that knew people, and then you got in front of them. You taught them small bits. You stayed in front of them with making videos. You added them as friends on Facebook. You put them in Facebook groups. You communicated with them a little. So, okay, here's another video by Brad. He seems to know what he's talking about. Okay, Brad just had a lunch and learn. I didn't make it, but it seems, my other agent said he was a good guy. Yeah, I should probably go to this class. So not only did you build authority, but you use social influence. You use the power of, one agent knows another agent knows another agent. When you start cracking into other people's audiences, that's when you go viral. And that's kind of what I wanted to make this whole call about, was how does a new guy end up, going viral with his business? And I've chatted with you in the last couple of weeks, and every night you can't even keep up with all the agents that are asking you questions and all the new buyers that are coming in. You're asking questions from the group in MMBC about certain scenarios, and you're asking questions to Ian and your structure desk about all these VA loans, and you've literally got this huge pipeline of pre-approvals now, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But you had to get uncomfortable. You had to go through the steps, and a lot of people try to shortcut it. But to your credit, you didn't. You did all the steps, and I saw the work that you've done with the videos and the PowerPoints, and they're not 100% perfect, but they're pretty good, and they get better every time.
Right.
And that's something we say in here. It's what is it?
Yeah, it's
imperfect
you just
action.
Get more, correct. Imperfect action, it trumps perfect inaction, right?
Right.
Right. You just get more comfortable every single time.
Did your first video suck?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. Did your first lunch? Terrible. Did your first one-on-one with the agent suck?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and tell you it was awesome, but I'm sure they're like, "What the hell are you doing?"
That first 3-hour class that you did, I mean, we helped you a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't the best you could ever do.
No,
it doesn't matter though, because you were continuing to grow and going through the steps the right way, and that's what I wanted to share with everybody in the group. It doesn't have to be VA lending, it doesn't have to be anything like that, but if you're going to try to build a referral-based business at least with real estate agents, you got to go through a progression. And walking in the door and just promising, I got great rates of service, and you'll win eventually if you pound enough doors and you continue to make relationships. There's no question. But when you have a strong value proposition and you stand apart and you identify yourself as good at something, it's a lot easier to get in front of those agents. Now you are in a unique position where I think you and Andrew are trading deals a little bit back and forth. I mean, those agents that you guys are partnering with, I believe they're sending the VAs to you and the other deals to Andrew, right? That's kind of how you guys are doing it?
Yeah.
So you're making strong relationships. I mean, you're not necessarily going to get 100% VA deals, but I mean, Andrew's kind of seen some of the benefits too with the stronger agent relationships for your team, right?
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, when I joined the team at Caliber, I told him right up front, like, look, I know I'm a newer loan officer. However, within the first 12 months, I will only originate VA loans as long as I can follow this program, right? I laid it all out. This is what I wanted to do. I have a whole checklist of things that I wanted to get put into action, and they were up. Ian Ashton was he was 100% behind me. Like, hell yeah, how can we help you? And that is empowering in itself, right? And then I'm not trying to plug Military Mortgage Bootcamp at all, but the alumni group and the instructor group, I mean, we motivate the shit out of each other, right? We share best practices like, hey, this is what's working. This is what, anybody encounter this. And it's empowering to have not only a team of people that are here in your physical location, but you also have a digital following of loan officers, like VA loan officers that are doing this every day too, right? And it really helped me take that first step out of the nest, seeing these other people do things, and like Steyer, he's always posting stuff, and I always get mad 'cause I'm like, dude, you beat me to it. Like, come on. But it's cool to have the support of other people that are, like-minded. All of us think a lot alike, right? But you are the Facebook guy. I'm not always going to come to you for Facebook stuff. Like, how the hell what do I do for this? You always.
Right. And I'm not the best in America, but I can help a lot of people that are at the level that I'm at. And, at the end of the day, this wasn't about Facebook. It wasn't about boot camp. I mean, you and I didn't even wear boot camp shirts. We kind of said we're not going to promote it much. But, if you want to understand how we got from zero loans in process to over 20 pre-approvals in less than 60 days, that's exactly how we did it.
Correct.
You started out with, okay, well, I got to be badass at something. So if you guys are out there watching, figure out what the hell it is in your market that you're going to be badass at.
Correct.
Okay.
Don't
take shortcuts. When you talk to Andrew Paul, he was like, crack open. What do you say? Section 4.
Yeah. Chapter 4. Read chapter 4.
Read
And
chapter
so I
4.
asked him another question. He's like, dude, you haven't read chapter 4.
Did you read chapter 4? Don't come back. Did
Yeah.
Jay and I do the same thing with you? When you started making
Yeah,
videos, you started asking us questions. We asked you if you'd made a video yet, and you said no. We said, well, come back to us when you made a video.
correct.
We did it on purpose. So intentionally, we wanted to put you in the frame of mind where we knew you could communicate with your audience.
Yep.
And we knew you were going to be doing it face to face with agents and on camera. So let's put Brad in a position where he's uncomfortable. We're going to give him some basics. We're going to give him some basic scriptings, but we wanted to put it in his own words. And we want to get him comfortable teaching, and we want to get him comfortable communicating. And that's where I think a lot of us as LOs, and I said this earlier in the call, but I mean, you've seen me on these before. I repeat myself a lot. We miss that communication piece. We know something, but we don't know it well enough to teach it. And if you really want to be an authority, you have to be at the position where you can teach it, whether you're teaching it on camera and creating videos, or they're teaching it in a classroom setting, or whether you're just teaching it one-on-one over the phone or through lunch and learns. If you can educate those around you and help them, then they will remember you as the go-to person. Now, do these agents remember everything you taught them?
No,
Hell no. They don't.
they don't.
Do they remember the videos? No. But do they remember that you had a position of authority? I mean, you were standing, you had a whiteboard, you were in a class, you had, like a boot camp shirt on, you did an event, you fed them a steak. They remember all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
like one of the things that I get calls all the time, like, hey, I something's going on with this VA deal. Something's wrong. I know you said something about it in class, and I don't know what it is. Can you call them?
mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Like that's the thing.
Yep.
They're not going to know, and I don't expect them. And I tell them that throughout the whole class. Like I don't expect you to know.
Yep.
That's what I'm here for, right?
Yep.
All you need to know is if it's a veteran, I take care of my family. I can't, as I forget. I think AP said it. We're take care of our flock. We're shepherds. We take care of our flock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's 100% true. Even if it's not, I'm not there to steal a deal. I'm not there to, steal their business. But as long as you take the time to be genuine, be sincere, like, hey, I fell victim to it. I got talked out of a VA loan. I'm in a 15-year conventional. But
with PMI.
Correct. And that is why I do what I do now, right? Because everybody assumes veterans know their benefits, and we 100% do not, right? Right. So as long as I can provide some sort of education, lead the horse to water, if you will, right? You just can't make them drink. But if you give them all the take the extra 5 minutes, lay everything out to them. If they don't end up going with you, so be it. But you've earned their respect and you've earned their trust, and now you're going to get referrals from it. Yep,
exactly. And the giver's gain mentality, positioning yourself as somebody who will help no matter what. And one of the things that I heard you say a few times, and I think I put it in your mouth as well, was just that whole concept of finding your voice and knowing how to talk with the agents. And that's really what sets you apart.
Correct.
Because you had tried some of these methods early on, and you didn't get very far. You're like, hey, I'm a Marine. I love veterans. I love to do VA loans. But that was very similar to the value proposition by other LOs in the market.
Correct.
And when you started actually breaking down what was going on in the market and explain to the agents, well, hey, did you guys know there's two ways to get value? Do you know we can push the turn times, and it's based on case assignment, and Western Michigan is 8 days or 10 days or whatever it is, and this is how we look it up, and this is the stuff we do to get you guys through on time, and this is why the veteran borrowers are better, and here's the average credit score, and this is stuff that's important to know as agents, and this is why I'm out here doing this. When you started having that voice, that really made a difference, because it wasn't just Brad saying, I'm a VA guy, I got a hashtag and a logo and a website. Yeah. It was Brad caring, Brad getting involved, and Brad attempting to communicate with the larger community to solve the problems of the agents and the veterans combined.
Correct.
So I dig it.
Correct. I mean, because there's so many.
I didn't mean to put words in your mouth, but that's kind of how I roll.
You said it a hell of a lot better than I would have.
Well,
I mean, it's true, because until you figure out your purpose, you're going to kind of just stagnate. You're going to be okay with being okay. And, I'm okay with being okay, but I'm not okay with being okay when I see my brothers, getting taken advantage of. I mean, there's legislation right now. Like, there are people on our watch list for predatory behavior, and that's just BS. It should not happen. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
veterans are
and
getting, sorry, I'm not
I
going to go
know,
on.
and we could rant about this
I
all day,
know.
every day. I was ranting about it earlier. I had some messenger chats about it. And
Yeah, so was I.
I get a little too passionate at times. Sometimes I overreact a little too. But and it's my job as a leader not to overreact and just try to help people, right? But I'm a human, and I sometimes blow up and ask for forgiveness later, right? But yeah, the point of this, and we're pretty much done. We're gonna wrap this up. We'll share it with all our peeps. Is again, it's not to tell you guys you need to do more VA loans. Not to tell you you got to join boot camp. If you want to, we're here for you. It's to tell you to get passionate about something, set yourself apart, and understand how you need to build yourself up if you're working with agents. I mean, you got to communicate. You got to make videos. You got to do one-on-ones. You got to teach smaller classes. You got to teach larger classes. You got to have a value proposition. You've done all this stuff. I mean, you've got, Ian's helped you with your CRM. I know you're doing Facebook groups. I know you're combining it all, and you kind of got the roadmap from Ian, a little bit from Jay and I, but it was this concerted effort to quote unquote go viral, and it all started with a firm foundation. Okay, once Brad knows what he's doing, he figures out his ideal client, he figures out his audience, and he gets the message out there. That's freaking marketing 101. There's like Google Frank Kern and perfect client. I can't remember. There's about 62 webinars you can watch about finding your perfect client. Once you find your perfect client, you figure out what you can do to help them, which is the foundation. You figure out your message, and you get that message out there as best you can, whether it's face-to-face or video. You just keep freaking putting it out there, and then you ask for the business. So
Correct.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right, man. Well, I got a real quick at the end of the call. If you guys like this call, we've got Andrew Paul coming out in a couple days. If you don't know him, he's a badass Navy SEAL. He gives a lot back to the LO community. He's a very busy man. Teams and kids and all this kind of stuff going on. But we appreciate he's going to come in and he's going to talk to you how to extract more out of the relationships that you currently have instead of focusing all your time and energy on making new relationships over and over and over again. And we may just talk about an upcoming event that we're doing. I believe it's going to be San Diego. So this is the first time I've dropped that. It's not official, but anyways, we'll talk more about that in the future.
I wanted to say one thing too. Because of all these engagements and all the things that I've done so far in the last 2 months, I have not called one agent. They've all
You haven't called one agent? It's all been Facebook messages and emails?
Me. Yes.
They've called you. Okay.
So, I mean, and that's pretty incredible.
You should have started out with that, dude. I mean, I hate saying anything bad about the Rick Ruby guys. I love them, but there's times where I kind of like, do you really need to make all those phone calls? And so when I hear that, it lends a little bit of, it makes me smile a little bit because sometimes I think if you have a good value proposition,
Correct.
People will come to you because they want and need you, not because you're just pounding their door down and forcing them to do business with you.
Yeah. So once you embody your why statement or figure out your passion, I mean, it just comes out in everything you do. Like I've heard many agents have reached out to me after we've met and said, I feel really inspired by our conversation and you've motivated me to do something, get involved or however. And I'm not trying to, it's not a kudos to me. It's just, it's everything I do. Like I really just, is a part of me now. It just exudes in everything. Because I've really taken it to heart, it just comes out. And it doesn't come out sleazy or cheesy like I was hoping or I was nervous about before. It really comes out genuine and sincere, and that's the greatest thing that I think any new loan officer needs to understand. You have to figure out your passion, you have to figure out your drive, and really embody it, make it a part of it.
I like it, dude.
And whenever,
I like it, dude. And like we've said many times, this isn't about VA loans. It doesn't have to be
Correct.
VA loans.
It could be anything.
I did a great call with Jason Nee about 6 or 8 months ago. If you guys want a copy of it, I'll get it to you. Jason Nee's passion at one point was helping young homeowners make better financial decisions. He built this kick-ass network of financial planners and attorneys and tax people, and they all worked with, somewhat more affluent first-time buyers. But he built that niche in Philadelphia, because he was really passionate and he saw a hole in the marketplace and he learned how to find, professionals that needed help that were, still buying in the first time home buyer price range, but were just getting crap service and crap advice. And, I shared that on this call just because a lot of times people see us and they think we're just trying to tell them to do VA loans. They go, oh, I don't have any veterans in my state, blah, 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 whatever. I already know VA loans and, you guys are just trying to sell boot camp. It's not about that. It's about we're trying to inspire you to build a firm relationship-based business that helps you position yourself as the go-to person, quite simply.
Correct.
So,
whatever it is. I mean, it could be selling kittens. I know we're not going to do that here, but it could be whatever. I mean, just be passionate about it, and it's going to come out. Find something that sets you apart.
Good. All right, man. Well, we're going to just keep rambling if we don't stop. So I'm going to stop. If anyone has questions for Brad, keep in mind Brad has not even been at MLO for 1 year. So you're going to ask him like how to do a construction loan with 20 down escrow. He's going to be totally confused. But
I'll just say, hey, I got a guy.
If you ask him a VA question he doesn't know, he'll probably be on the phone with me. But we appreciate your time, guys. We hope this was inspiring. If you found it inspiring, add somebody on your team to the MLO network, tag them. Our goal is to give back to you guys and help inspire you to be better and to find your voice. So
yeah, you can reach out, Facebook message me. I'll be happy to take a phone call with them.
By the way, dude, your PowerPoint is way impressive, way cooler than anyone that I ever did. And I appreciate your contribution to many of us by helping us get better at our PowerPoint skills. That's
no problem.
All I'm going to say.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right. Appreciate your service, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.